it. The and one.
And somebody's having fun.
Carolina wins it.
Welcome into Carolina Postgame Live. I'm your host, Marilyn Payne. I'm going to do my best to say this the way that Roy Williams would want it said. The Tar Heels today end a 5-game losing streak and a 6-game ACC losing streak with a dominating win over Miami. And with that, Roy Williams gets career win number 880 as a head coach, passing his mentor, Dean Smith, on the NCAA's all-time D1 career wins list. So let's take a look at how these Tar Heels did it. Short-handed as they have been for much of the season, and Miami without its point guard and leading scorer, Chris Lykes. Like I said, a handful of losses in a row, but Andrew Platek has the Tar Heels up by 7 early. Miami turns the ball over 6 times in the first half, and there's Christian Keeling taking advantage on the break. How about this? Brandon Robinson from over the top. The long-range shot helps Brandon welcome himself back into the Dean Dome. Of course, we all know he did not travel to Virginia Tech, but it doesn't look like he's feeling any soreness at all today. The Tar Heels just on a scoring tear right there. Another 3 from Brandon, and it's all him, except for when he sends it inside to Armando Bacot. This is one of my favorite plays of the game. Look at the assist right here, straight through all the traffic. The freshman finishes, and he gets the and one as well after this, and the Tar Heels just staying in total control. Now how about this? Let's send it outside to Leaky Black. His 3-point shot gives the Tar Heels a large lead, and Brandon Robinson tries the finger roll. It's Armando Bacot in the paint with a 2-hand slam for a 51-27 halftime lead. Brandon Robinson keeping things going in the second half. The 3-point shot there is his 4th made of the game. How about another one for him? That's his 3rd 20-plus point game in 7 games. Christian Keeling steps in and makes the shot. He made all of his shots in the first half. And that one as well. Brandon Robinson inside. Who else? Just totally in control of the scoring. Armando Bacot with the steal. KJ Smith gets slowed down with the trap, but he helps the offense get going again. Who finishes inside? Armando Bacot. The Tar Heels looking good and staying in control with things going. There is the final score today, 94-71. North Carolina picking up the big win and shooting better than 50% on the day. 58 total percentage from the floor. They shot 55 in the first half, 58 for the entire game as they pick up their 2nd ACC win today's versus Miami. Now here on Carolina Postgame Live, we always name a player of the game, but we don't just pick one. We have a few nominees. So let's start with our first of the day. That's Armando Bacot, the freshman number 5, the big down low with a little light touch J right there. Armando had quite the game today, and he continues to stay confident and become more and more consistent. He's 8 of 11 from the floor, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, just 3 assists shy of the triple-double for Armando. And there a look at his stats. Our second player of the game nominee should not be a surprise to anyone. Brandon Robinson, a career-high 29 points for the senior. He hits 6 3-point shots today versus Miami, 11 for 16 from the floor. He has also 3 rebounds, 4 assists. You saw the one I liked the most earlier, and 2 steals as he leads this Tar Heel team in scoring and production. In that regard, Garrison Brooks is our third Carolina Postgame Live Player of the Game nominee. 14 points for Garrison today, shooting 1 3-point shot, which he missed, but he's just creating better and better shots for himself throughout the course of this season, moving outside of the lane just a little bit, and this offense as a whole looking better at getting the ball inside to him. 7 for 11 for the 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists for Garrison Brooks. Now, we will get to Roy Williams' post-game press conference as soon as coach is ready, but before we do that, we want to remember one of the greatest guys to ever put on a Carolina basketball uniform, and he is continuing to be great by extending his NBA career across 4 decades. When I say that, you got to know I'm talking about Vince Carter. He played for the Hawks last night, 10 minutes, just 2 points for VC on the Friday game. But here's a look at his entire career, spanning from when he was drafted all the way till now. All right, Vince Carter, drafted in 1998, playing in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now the 2020s. He is the oldest Carolina player still active in the NBA, but our Tar Heel trivia question today, who is the second oldest Carolina former basketball player still active in the NBA? If you think you know the answer to that question, make sure that you leave it in the comments section on our Facebook page, and we'll be sure to bring you that answer later in our show. Now, as we continue to wait for Roy Williams in his post-game press conference, we're going to take a look at some players who were honored at halftime of Carolina's basketball game today. If you weren't with us in the Dean Dome, you may not know, but it was the Carolina football team for their victorious season, ending it off with a bowl win in the Military Bowl earlier in back in December, actually. So Mack Brown and his team were showing off their trophy and continuing to show excitement for the program. Here's what that looked like today.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to introduce to you the head coach of the University of North Carolina football team, Hall of Famer Mack Brown.
I've got three quick things. Number one, let's thank these guys for having a great year, winning the bowl game and top 20 for next year. Secondly, thank you. We challenged you at this time last year to fill Keenan. You were one of 8 universities in the country to sell out every game. You made a difference. Thank you so much. And number 3, and most important today, let's help this bunch and Coach Williams beat the Canes. Let's go!
Steve put the note down about Mr. Corrigan. He was really, really nice to a young part-time assistant coach a long, long time ago, and was great for the ACC, so I was glad to see that we did the moment of silence for Mr. Corrigan before the game started. I thought that was nice. Our locker room is a lot more fun today, to say the least, than it has been, and I think we did some things that were really good, but at the same time, I know where Jimmy is. We've had 2 games this year where we didn't have our point guard, but didn't realize it until the day before the game, and that is really hard. And especially as good as Chris is. I think that's a tremendously big blow for them. I hope that we would have played really well if he had been in the game, but I know this, that I don't want to evaluate Jimmy's team, but I think they're a lot better team when they have him, their point guard, who's their leading scorer. So I feel badly for Jimmy at that time, but feel better for our guys, to say the least. First thing I thought about at halftime I looked at, and then looked at the end of the game, is 32 assists on 40 baskets, and I think we did share the ball better today. And if you share the ball better, you usually end up getting better shots. We shot a much better percentage than we had in quite a while, so it felt good to have some things going our way, and ball going in the basket. We made the decision this morning that I would play B-Rob. I told the TV people, somebody before the game, that yesterday we played him. We do, and when we're doing offensive group work or offensive stuff, we go 3 plays, 3 plays, 3 plays, and so we let B-Rob participate in 3 out of every 9, and he still felt good this morning. He's got some shots up today, and I think he felt good. It's just a neck problem, I guess, when you have an accident like that, it does cause it to bother you quite a bit. But Doug even massaged him during every time out. So, but so happy for B-Rob to get back out there. And needless to say, we need his shooting ability. We need his leadership, and even got an offensive rebound for a basket too. So it's a good day for us. Mondo 19 and 12, even 7 assists. You look down through there, had a lot of guys, and I think like 5 guys that had at least 4 assists. So some good things happened to us today. And again, I feel badly for Jimmy and his club, what they go through with that kind of surprise for you. It's not easy.
The other night, Blacksburg, you said the kids needed a reward.
Mm-hmm.
How good does it feel that they got that reward and they got it in the fashion that they did today?
I think they do feel really good. I think they should feel happy, feel some reward for some of the hard work, because for the most part, they've come to practice and tried, and nobody's taken the days off. And I think that part you just got to keep getting better. I was discouraged in the second half because I thought they kept just driving the ball to the basket and laying it up against us. And but other than that, I think I felt good about it, and darn right they have to feel really good about it.
With 32 assists and 40 baskets, sounds like Dean Smith basketball.
Well, it should be. It's North Carolina basketball. It's the way I've always known it. And Steve told me it tied or broke. Tied the record for the most assists since I've been here. And, you know, usually we have a lot of chance for more assists because we play at such a faster pace. And we haven't played at a faster pace very much this year. But share the ball. You guys have heard me. I've complained about the defense and standing around so much, but I don't think we stood very much today. I think we moved intelligently without the ball.
To get the 880th win after waiting for as long as you have for it. Are you glad it's behind you now?
Yeah, you know, but I would have been just as happy if it had happened 4 or 5 games ago. I really did, guys. I know some people don't believe me. I didn't even realize that until Jones Angell told me this summer that we were that close. And I desperately wanted number 9 for this team, and I'm being very honest. You know, when hopefully I'll live some after I quit, and I'll be able to, somebody will say, yeah, you won some games. And I'll say, yeah, they were a lot of fun. But I really haven't tried to evaluate where I am or anything like that, because that usually means you're ready to quit, and I hope I'm not ready to quit.
Were you expecting Miami to run as much zone as they did?
Yes. I think you take away their point guard and guy that establishes their defense up front, and they played some zone against us almost every year we've played.
Able to have so much success against the zone today?
Ball in the basket. I mean, I know you guys get tired of hearing that, but ball goes in the basket, guys. Everything looks a lot better, and we had some good shots. And B-Rob being back out there because he is our best shooter statistically, and we didn't have him the other night. And one more basket gone in, it would have helped us. And so I think that, and I think he missed his first 2, I think. And so to do that afterwards was good for him too.
Is there an update on Jeremiah Francis?
Yeah, he came in yesterday, and it was just stiff. And, guys, it's something I've told you, we're managing it every single day. And it was just stiff and a little swollen, which it's been periodically all throughout the year. And so.
You guys have had so much go wrong lately. Was there a point tonight where you felt, or this afternoon, where you felt like, okay, things are actually going, or even with Miami's situation, but that you were going to be able to take advantage of that, I guess, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to guard Miami when that little rascal's not in there, so that helps you, to say the least. But I think the shots are going in, but I'm the guy that was in the stands. The only game I saw for North Carolina my first year as a high school coach was the 8 points in 17 seconds. So I'm a guy that really never thinks the game's over until I hear the horn. But I did think that some things were going good for us. And Coach Davis jumped on them at halftime a little bit because they didn't have any smiles on their face. And I think you've got to enjoy playing well, but the only thing is I yelled at Garrison during the game because he had a big smile on his face, but he'd just let the guy drive right by him for a layup. And because I want you to have that inner satisfaction and the inner joy of playing. But I do think we had some things going for us, as you said, and the biggest one is Chris not playing. But starting out, I didn't think, we scored 1 basket maybe on our second or third possession, and I thought we played out there for 4 or 5 minutes without ever having a shot go in. But I thought some good things happened.
Anybody else?
Roy, you mentioned how badly you wanted number 9.
Pardon?
You mentioned how badly you just wanted number 9.
Yeah, for this team.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you try and bottle this up and sort of keep it going for the next month and a half or so?
Have no idea. If I did, we wouldn't have lost all those other suckers. We'll practice tomorrow. I say what I said at the press conference. It's corny, but we're going to practice tomorrow just like we practiced Thursday and just like we practiced the day before the Virginia Tech game, trying to get better. But I do think that every game that you win gives you a little more confidence. And I think we were shaken, whatever word you want to use. The lack of confidence a lot of times makes you make mistakes because you're timid. Lack of confidence a lot of times makes you miss a shot. So hopefully it'll give them a little confidence to do some things better too.
As kind of bleak as things have been during all of these injuries and everything, have you allowed yourself some optimism in terms of now we've seen Brandon Robinson put 3 20-point scoring games together. Garrison has become a scorer too when he needs to be, and with the possibility of Cole coming back, like, is there any? Have you allowed yourself kind of to have that optimism that maybe?
Yes and no. But Coach Wooden told me one time that before every season started, and some of you old guys have heard this, that he got an envelope and a piece of paper and wrote down every game and whether he thought they were going to win or lose. And then after the season's over, get it out and say how close he came. And he told me that personally. I said, God, Coach, I couldn't do that. He said, why? And I said, that'd make me feel like I was looking ahead, you know. So that's part of the answer to the question is I really do, guys. I worry about the negative stuff with my kids and not the confidence and everything. But I don't try to say, oh gosh, if we do this today, we'll be better 3 games from now. But yet, as a coach, you've got to coach for long term. And you know, I mean, I'm not sure. I think Lucas said earlier in the year we beat Elon or Gardner Webb, and I was a little frustrated. Every day I coach for the whole season. But during that game, I got to coach that day's game. But yeah, I think you always try to look forward and decide what you can do that's going to help you out long term. And you know, we can use it as an excuse or a reason or whatever way you want to look at it. It's before today's game, Miami had 18 games that started, same 5 guys all 18 games, and we haven't had that. And yet before today's game, Miami had already played Louisville twice and Duke twice. And so there's a reason their record might not have been as good if they hadn't had those, because those have proven so far to be the 2 best teams in the league. But every day you try to coach to get better for the long haul. And so I do that, but I don't look ahead too much, you know. I have no idea who the crap we play after Monday night. I really don't. I know it's an ACC game. That's all. Who?
BC next Saturday here.
Thank you. Monday, though.
I do know who will play Monday.
All right, Coach, just making it clear, doesn't know who is after Monday's NC State game, but he does know who the Tar Heels play Monday. A Roy Williams era record tied today with 32 assists by the Tar Heels in this win over Miami. One of the guys responsible for a lot of that, Armando Bacot, he had 7. Here is Adam Lucas in the locker room with Armando's reactions to today's game.
Alongside Armando Bacot, a very happy Carolina locker room. Armando, 32 assists on 40 field goals. What was the key to creating all those good shots offensively?
I mean, yeah, all week in practice, we were just locked in. I mean, we lost a tough one to Virginia Tech, but we thought we made some good strides. And just coming in practice, we were just working on cutting without the ball, just moving a lot more. We've been doing a lot of different just like movement, continuity offenses, and I feel like it worked a lot today.
You had 7 assists yourself, darn near a triple-double. How are you seeing the court differently as the season progresses?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just starting to realize my other teammates' spots and where they like to go. And, I mean, just seeing everybody eat is fun. I mean, you just see the fans were into it, coach was into it, all the players was into it, so it was just great.
You've been so close as a team lately. What did it feel like to finally break through, and it just felt like everything went right for one afternoon?
We just said we're going to make that push. We're going to just lock in for a whole 40 minutes, not 38, not 30, but just a whole 40 minutes. And it's just been good. We got some guys coming back, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to try to go on a little win streak.
One of those guys who came back was Brandon Robinson, who came back in a big way and scored 29 points. What difference does he make for this team offensively?
I mean, yeah, B-Rob makes a huge difference, especially for the bigs, just being able to kick it out to him and creating space for us to be able to play one-on-one with such his ability to stretch the floor. So it's just great, but also just his leadership. I mean, he's a senior. He knows all the defensive coverages and where to be on offense at every position. So he's kind of like a teacher out there and a reflection of coach on the court. So just love having B-Rob out there.
Coach Williams has talked to you in practice these last couple of days about being aggressive around the rim. How did you put that into practice against Miami?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I like fade away from the basket. When I go to the basket, I score, and that's what I did today, and it worked.
How can this win be built on going forward? You don't get very long to rest on it.
Yeah, I mean, just keep our swag like this and just stay confident. Everybody playing hard and moving around like how we played today, playing good defense and just doing what Coach tells them to do. And I think we did a good job of that today, and we can carry that on in Raleigh.
That's Armando Bacot in the Happy Carolina locker room. Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.
All right, a happy Carolina locker room and a happy Carolina future. If you missed it earlier this week, North Carolina leads the country with McDonald's All-Americans 4 coming in for the Tar Heels. Dayron Sharp, Walker Kelser, R.J. Davis, and Caleb Love. I know the Tar Heels fans excited to see that news, looking bright ahead to the future. Now, our North Carolina post-game live player of the game today is none other than Brandon Robinson. This may not be a surprise. A career high for the senior, 29 points, 6 made threes, 11 for 16 from the floor as he led the Tar Heels today versus the Hurricanes. A lights-out performance for B-Rob. His third game with 20 points or more in the last 7 contests. Oh, just 1 point shy of the 30 mark. 4 assists and 3 rebounds. And I'm excited to welcome in now Adam Lucas, who is in the studio with me for his rapid reactions. Welcome back.
You finally let me come back.
You know, I don't make the rules. But I'm glad that you're here. I'm excited to hear how you feel about this. We saw a lot of good things from North Carolina today, not just in the fact that they won the game right and they did it versus a shorthanded team. So shorthanded versus shorthanded, the Tar Heels got it done. And they looked so cohesive on offense. Where did you see that pay off the most for the Tar Heels? We talk about these 32 assists, but where did that show up?
Well, I think first of all, isn't it nice to feel good a few minutes after Carolina plays a basketball game? Just enjoy this for a couple minutes. Now, offensively, Miami coach Jim Larrañaga talked before the game about his team's used to defending teams that start on the outside and work in. And he said Carolina's going to challenge us because they're going to start on the inside and work out. And that's exactly what the Tar Heels did. Maryland mentioned Armando Bacot's 7 assists. That's because the offense was starting near the basket and working out. Miami couldn't cover it. Brandon Robinson was hot. Really, everyone was hot. The best shooting day of the season for Carolina, and boy, they needed it.
Yeah, they did. A good vibes game, I heard somebody say earlier in our control room, helping us put this show together. So I think that's a great assessment of it. The first win of the decade, the second ACC win, the first win of the ACC continuous season. A lot of good things for North Carolina here today. We talked about the defensive look that Miami gave the Tar Heels, and Roy Williams said after the game, he was asked, did you expect that? And he said very abruptly, yes, we did. What does it mean that this North Carolina team was able to execute so well in terms of exactly what it prepared for?
That's what Roy Williams has been asking for several weeks. He feels like his team's been prepared, but then hasn't executed the game plan quite as well. They did it against Miami. Of course, you've got to realize Miami was depleted. They were without 2 of their best, maybe their 2 best players. But hey, Carolina's been there, so not a lot of time for sympathy at this point. What Carolina needed was to get the win, get something to feel good about, see that what they've been doing in practice actually worked in the games. And that's what happened today, and that's what the Tar Heels hope they can carry forward to Raleigh on Monday night.
Yeah, so Chris Likes, everyone probably knows at home, that he usually goes off versus the Tar Heels. 47 points in his 2 games versus North Carolina last season. Roy Williams gave him tough little rascal, so not quite tough little nut designation.
That's just below tough little nut.
He doesn't play for the Tar Heels, so we wouldn't quite expect it on a day like today. To see North Carolina have an opportunity and then jump on it the way that these Tar Heels did today, where does that become applicable in every single game they have moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that Carolina's played 20 good minutes or 30 good minutes or sometimes 35 good minutes. Today they played 40 good minutes. They got an early 20-point lead and kept playing, which is something that hasn't always happened this year. It also enabled a lot of players to get relative rest. Garrison Brooks, Brandon Robinson, Leaky Black able to play fewer minutes than they've been playing recently. That's going to be huge, having to turn around and play 48 hours from now on the road, and with a heavy schedule coming up, with some heavy road trips coming up. That's going to be important to get some rest. So I just think you didn't come out of this game with anything negative for Carolina basketball, which is just a welcome situation to be in.
Yeah, I think it's the first time that this North Carolina team has really had the opportunity to say that this season, first win of the decade. Again, I mean, it's a fresh start type situation after this one for the Tar Heels, 94-71. Also the first time the Tar Heels scored 90 or more points this season. Christian Keeling and Justin Pierce each add 9 to the scoring total, like you mentioned, relieving those starters. So all things considered, probably could not have gone better here for the Tar Heels today. And let me knock on wood, nobody got hurt either, which is incredible news for this year's team. Roy Williams, I did want to touch on this, mentioned in his post-game press conference, Adam, that Brandon Robinson was just cleared to play today, this morning. He didn't practice on Thursday at all. He practiced in a third of the practices on Friday. Where do you kind of assess him in terms of heart versus hustle, because it's not like he played and he just barely did anything. His contributions to this team over this stretch, not just the win, but in the losses as well, how much does he mean to this team as we continue to wait for those other guys to get healthy?
I think he's very much the numbers version of Garrison Brooks's heart, if that makes any sense. You've got to have Garrison Brooks's kind of motor out there, and you've got to have Brandon Robinson shooting and scoring. And Maryland, and surprisingly, Coach Williams, exactly right. Brandon just didn't do very much at practice yesterday, and that's hard for his teammates to get accustomed to finding him in that role. Where's he going to go when the shot clock gets down to 5 and you need that basket? Where's he going to be? And they've got to get used to where he is going to be on the floor, where he wants the ball, where he wants to score, because in all honesty, when he gets the ball for the balance of this season, he has scored. And as we know, Carolina needs scoring, and got a ton of it from him and from everyone today. Maryland mentioned Christian Keeling. I thought today was a good step forward for him. He didn't look like he was pushing it. He looked more comfortable, and he made some open shots when he had them.
Yeah, he was really efficient. 4 for 6 from the floor. He made all 3 shots that he took in the first half, which for him is a confidence booster. Coaches talked about how he struggled to see the ball go in the basket. We've all heard it since coming to Carolina, so today he did see that. Anything else you want to throw in there that you didn't get to add after this win today, Adam?
Woo! Enjoy that. You can watch games the rest of the day and know Carolina won. That's a fun Saturday.
Yeah, all right, so we do have the answer to our Tar Heel trivia question, which was, who is the second oldest Tar Heel in the NBA? We all know Vince Carter is the oldest. The answer is Marvin Williams. Shout out to Tyler Carter, who got that question answered correctly in the comments section on our Facebook page. Marvin was actually drafted by Vince Carter's current team, the Atlanta Hawks, 2nd overall in 2005. Other guys drafted from the Carolina Tar Heels team that year, Raymond Felton, Sean May, Rashad McCants, and Gerard Williams. So that will do it for us here today on Carolina Post Game Live. Of course, North Carolina playing on Monday versus NC State in Raleigh. The Wolfpack having a great season to this point. And we will see you all again on February 1st. Can you believe it's already February? When the Tar Heels welcome Boston College into Chapel Hill. We'll see you then.
Shot, boy, rainbowed home by Brandon Robinson. Dumps it off to Bacon, who dunks it home with 2 hands. The bucket and the foul. Erased at the rim by Leaky Black. Alley-oop to Brooks. The finish plus the foul. Pierce slides in for the rebound and the putback. Wide open triple. Yes, sir.